I'm recording, but what do you think of?
Recording me right now?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Say one word or a couple words that you think of when you think of the future.
Job, grad school, loans, or technology. I mean, like, hopefully, like some climate change. Like, not, like, positive climate change. Like,
I think of technology.
Technology.
Innovation.
Technology.
Technology.
Innovation.
Scary.
Turbulence.
Chaos.
Flying cars.
Career.
Sustainability.
We have to transcend these national boundaries in our thinking.
And I've seen the promised land.
Technology has enabled humans to transcend political boundaries. We have always lived in a global village, it's just much more apparent now. The colonial impulse has shaped the way we live on many levels. Looking at what the future holds, we have many things to consider. Several issues discussed by the World Watch Institute include energy, population growth, the oceans, climate change, peak oil, and clean water, to name a few. We need to start asking more questions like Stuart Brand. Why haven't we seen a photograph of the whole Earth yet? We have the technology to do a lot of things for humanity, but for some reason we just aren't doing them. We can harvest clean energy and clean water. We can move away from fossil fuels and reduce carbon emissions. We can reuse resources and waste less material. It has taken us humans too long to fix the problems that we have caused. There have been studies since the late 19th century theorizing about human-induced climate change. At the declaration of the World Climate Conference in 1979, the World Meteorological Organization stated that it appears plausible that an increased amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere can contribute to a gradual warming of the lower atmosphere. The WMO went on to conclude that this gradual warming could become significant before the middle of the next century. Despite all of the research after 1979 that backed up the WMO's claim, not much progress has been made with reducing carbon emissions. According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, emissions of carbon dioxide increased 42% worldwide from 1990 to 2010. We are slowly getting on the right path to combat climate change. Currently, representatives from 196 countries are meeting in Paris at the 21st Conference of Parties to make a new deal to limit CO2 emissions. Humans are in the bad habit of trying to fix problems when they happen, rather than trying to prevent these problems from happening in the first place.
Transportation manufacturers have not had strict enough regulations on the CO2 expulsion that their vehicles produce. Despite these regulations being very mild, some companies do their best to disregard the rules altogether. Volkswagen was recently in a big scandal over the emissions that its cars produce. News outlets have named the scandal the diesel dupe. Basically, Volkswagen had software in its diesel cars that could sense when emission testing was taking place and switch the car into a lower performance mode that produced less emissions. When the cars were on the road again, they would switch back to normal power. This switch means that these cars emitted nitrogen oxide pollutants up to 40 times what is allowed in the United States. Volkswagen models that have this feature include the Jetta, the Beetle, the Golf, and the Passat, which means that 11 million cars worldwide were sold under false pretenses. Volkswagen marketed these cars as being low emission, but that was not the case. Although Volkswagen does not care about the future, there are a few companies dedicated to manufacturing environmentally friendly vehicles. There are two car companies that come to mind when I think about making innovations to create a better future. These companies are Toyota and Tesla. Both of these companies are using technology that seems as if it came right out of a science fiction movie. Toyota released its first hybrid in 1997 and has sold 8 million of these cars worldwide. Now, Toyota is advancing the technology even further by releasing a car that runs on 100% hydrogen. The only emission that this car produces is water. This car is called the Mirai, which means future in Japanese. This is all part of Toyota's plan to eliminate petrol and diesel engines from its production by 2050. Tesla is also helping transform the automotive industry through its production of electric cars. CEO Elon Musk has said that his vision for Tesla is to manufacture electric cars at affordable prices for the average consumer. Currently, Tesla produces high-end, luxury electric vehicles. Tesla is a company that has managed to make electric cars sexy. These vehicles offer technology on the forefront of innovation. The Model S offers Tesla Autopilot, which allows the car to steer within a lane, change lanes, and manage speed without any driver input. It is through the innovation of companies like Toyota and Tesla that inspire hope that we will one day live in a less polluted world.
Humans have increased the amount of energy used at much faster rates than their population has grown. From 1850 to 2010, the global population multiplied by 5 times, but world energy use increased 20 times, and fossil fuel use increased by more than 150 times. In the film Mind Walk, the protagonist, Sonia, theorizes that every aspect of our world is interconnected. We can now include technology in this theory of interconnectedness, as it will continue to create and resolve issues in our ecosystem. The Millennium Project has listed science and technology as one of their 15 global challenges for humanity. According to the EPA, in 2010, 14% of the worldwide greenhouse gas emissions were produced from the burning of fossil fuels used in transportation. In the United States, transportation makes up 1/3 of our total greenhouse gas production.
When looking at technologies that I think will transcend political boundaries in the future, I looked at technologies that already have. Mobile phones have allowed individuals to connect with others all over the globe, regardless of which country, city, culture, etc. These phones have the power to communicate in real time with people all over the world and can even translate text from any language to another. The idea that individuals have the power to immediately access the vast amount of information available online and have the ability to personally share information with anyone around the world has reformed the way every aspect of our life functions. From business to politics, sports to the arts, Mobile devices have changed the way we function, and it's only going to keep progressing.
Technology will help humans transcend political boundaries and live responsibly in a global village. There are several issues we are dealing with in our world today. We can sit back and pretend that Mother Earth will just clean up after our mess, or we can be proactive and use technology to make progress towards creating a global village.